You know, I've been wanting to get like ear piercings for a while. I haven't been
you
able
should.
to.
Wait, why not?
Like, I don't know. It was like freshman year, and my dad didn't want to. 'Cause I was like, I don't know. I was like too young or whatever.
Oh,
But,
wait,
like,
that makes sense.
yeah.
I have a friend who got it this year.
Oh yeah. Is it a guy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think like girls usually get it like fairly easily or
I-
like fairly early.
I think a lot of my like friends get it like when they're born.
Yeah.
I think I got mine 7th, 8th.
Oh
grade.
yeah.
I think 7th grade.
Yeah. I need to like complete the look for the fuckboy look. I swear I'm not that though. That's like part of my lore. But-
Lore.
Yeah, I do have a lot of lore.
You still haven't updated me yet. It's
Wait.
okay. We'll get there.
We'll
one
get
day.
there. I mean,
One step at a time.
already party people. We need to
Okay.
get this started. There's only one party person, but okay. All right. Okay. So, hello and welcome to the Talking Stage. I'm your host, Ivan Bascos, and today I'm joined with.
Selina.
Okay, so Miss Selina Wang. I've known you since like 6th grade, right? We had the same 6th grade class.
Was it 6th grade or 5th grade?
I think it was 6th grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of those.
Yeah. So I've known her since 6th grade. And then from that year, we played like tag and infection or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We were in the same class. A lot of fun. Every day was a lot of fun. And we were split for the middle schools that we went to, but we eventually like met back in high school.
Yep.
We haven't had many interactions because we haven't like shared any classes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then we didn't like do any activities together. But for me, like this person right here, very appreciative of this person. Very, very, very kind, beautiful woman. Like, I appreciate you a lot for always having good communication, checking in, you know, which is, I feel like something not a lot of people do, which is, in fact, the point of this little podcast today.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. So, one of the things I really appreciate you personally about is that you have great communication. So, you check in on people, you check in on me when it was like in like 7th grade or like the summer of 6th grade or something like that. And then, like, I feel like not many people like do that, you know, like people have a hard time communicating. You would agree? Yeah. What do you think that is? That's so difficult for people to have communication.
I think people are scared of, like, I guess, putting themselves out there and making, like, being vulnerable, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like a lot of people try to make themselves seem a certain way in front of other people,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't want other people to see, like, a deeper side of them, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So they put on, like, a facade, like, they pretend to be, they're cool, or they have no emotions, when in reality, like, they're bottling things up.
Mm-hmm. I think, I'm not sure like vulnerable is the right word, but I feel like it's difficult for people to like show that they care, because in a way, like if you show that you care, it's like you create the expectation that they should care for you back, which you wouldn't like want to create that, you know? Yeah. I feel like it's kind of a sad situation though, that people don't have that communication skill, and it just ends up that like nobody cares about anybody.
Yeah, I feel like everyone's like, excuse you. I feel like everyone's in like their own bubble these days.
Mm-hmm.
Like they only care about themselves. People become really selfish, self-centered, and I think without realizing it, they bring down other people in that process.
I think it's like also because there's also like trends that's been going like on TikTok or whatever. That's like last year there's a big one's the villain arc.
What?
You ever heard of the villain arc?
No.
So the villain arc is like where people they would get like heartbroken and they just become like low-key evil.
Wait, yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah, and it's like people have like actually embodied that. I low-key had a bit of a villain arc, but the only person I was villainry to was myself, to be honest. I low-key set a bar. But yeah. And then I think there's like a better trend that came along like right after that, the I have no enemies trend. Have you heard of that one?
I recognize the name, but I don't remember the videos that went with it.
I mean, it was kind of like anime edits because it came from a manga. But like the idea of like I have no enemies, it's kind of like the exact opposite of the villain again. Been put in this situation. Has anybody ever hit you with the "we need to talk"?
Yeah.
Or the "can I talk to you about something"?
Yeah.
How did you feel? Was it in text or was it in IRL?
It's always over text.
Yeah.
It's never in person.
Like, oh, by the way, I'll be like coughing a lot because I low-key got like a lung disease.
Oh.
I thug it out though.
Okay.
Anyways.
Okay.
It's not contagious though. But yeah, so how did you feel when you received that text?
I think first thing is like panic. Like, did I do something wrong? Or like, did I get caught for something? But like, I don't have anything to hide.
Yeah.
So like, why am I feeling that way?
Yeah.
But whenever I get the, like, can we talk? Can I talk to you about something? Or it's just my name with the period at the end. Or just my name. Like, panic.
That's so scary. Yeah. And then it's like, and then you start like gaslighting yourself. You start thinking like, wait, what did I do? And then you start like low-key defending yourself in your brain. It's like, wait, no, like that was you, not me. And then it turns out they talk about like something completely different. Yeah. And then it's like, what was the situation that you were hit with the, can we talk, if you don't mind me asking?
I think the one I remember the most clearly was like, can we talk? But they just wanted advice. It wasn't necessarily something like I had to do.
Yeah. And then was there another situation where it was not that? Uh-oh.
Wait. Maybe not for me, but a lot of people get hit with the like, what are we?
Yeah.
I feel like that one sucks too.
Have you heard of the DTR? What that means?
No.
Define the relationship.
Oh.
I say determine because I feel like it's cooler. Yeah.
It's rough. I mean, I haven't had that experience yet, but I know people who have, and I don't want to be in that situation.
What were they saying to you when they were saying like how it was?
Like, they don't know how. I think this goes back to like the commitment part too. Commitment and communication. Like, they don't know what to expect. They don't know how to respond or react to it.
And it's also like, if somebody says like, "Can we talk?" Right? It's I would like compare it to like a contract. So if you would say like, let's say you're doing like a car dealership or whatever, we have this. So it's like you're signing something you didn't read.
So
you know what that means?
Like fear of the unknown.
Yeah, because it's like it just leads like that language just leads people to use their own assumptions, which communication is the way you bar assumptions. But at that point, if you didn't communicate, it already becomes harder to like establish what's going on. It's kind of tough too because I think people try to take like baby steps to having good communication, but they will like communicate things that like don't really matter, or like things that like might give people the wrong idea. You do know what I mean by that?
Yeah, it's like adding in a bunch of little things to distract yourself from getting to the main point. When in reality, sometimes you just need to take that big step and just get straight to the point. Yeah,
I mean, it's definitely hard because it's hard to like build up the confidence to communicate too. Like if you're to like create that contract, like I'm saying with the analogy, it's difficult because you have to take your own assumptions and then you have to like try to think about what they're thinking and then communicate that in a way that like makes sense to them. But it's difficult because nobody really knows anybody, which is pretty hard. And then that's like the point of communication, to like get to know somebody. So it's like hard from the beginning. You agree?
I agree.
Okay. And then to go back to one of your points from earlier that like, or like something we like agreed on is that people like usually our age, they have a hard time communicating because like they don't want to show that they care, right? Why do you think that like being too cool or like showing that they don't care is like a normal thing for people our age?
I think people want to and try to be perfect. And I feel like, especially as teenagers, our parents set expectations for us, our teachers set expectations for us. And so everyone tries to fit inside like that golden bubble and like that standard. And then they think that making one little mistake redefines their entire life and them as a person, when in reality, that's not true.
And then you would say emotions would not fit that like golden boy standard.
Yeah. I feel like that's what social media says, but it's not true.
What do you mean that what social media says?
It's like how do I explain this? It's like people are expected to be happy.
Yeah.
Or they're expected to like, okay, wait, I don't know if this is a good example, but like grief, like if someone dies, you're expected to like grieve them, but people have different ways of expressing that too.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. It's like social media tells you that you should feel things in this order or in this way, but in reality it's like different for any person.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, it's definitely interesting that emotions is not related to like what is seen as cool or like expressive or like being expressive is like the antagonist of being like cool or like respected, so to say. But I feel like it's like the exact opposite though. Like if you have the confidence to express yourself, I feel like I would respect that person more.
I agree, because it shows that you're able to, like you said, you're able to communicate, you're able to express yourself, you have emotional intelligence too.
Oh, she pulled out the EI. What do you think of your emotional intelligence?
I think I can read people pretty well.
Really?
I think.
Do you think that's a good quality?
I mean, yeah.
Well, what do you mean by read? Like read their emotions or like read
like
the situation?
Like the vibe of a room. Like you're not. I'm not gonna walk in and like start saying like some dirty jokes when everyone is not feeling it. You know?
Yeah, it's an interesting analogy.
That's the first thing I thought of.
Damn, that's the first thing she thought of.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's okay.
Goes back to 6th grade friend group. Anyways, moving on.
Thank you for expressing yourself.
Moving on.
Yeah, and then emotional intelligence. It's so like reading a room is one form of emotional intelligence, or would you say it's like that's like the beginning stage of emotional intelligence?
I don't think there's like stages. I think it's just like a big umbrella of things.
Oh yeah.
It's just something that it falls under.
Oh yeah. So there's being able to read a room. What about your own personal emotional intelligence? Like how well you could process your own emotions and then how people affect your emotions, you know?
I feel like that part I struggle with a little bit more.
How so?
Like, I feel like I get stressed really easily. Like, it gets to everything gets to my head. I overthink a lot. And sometimes I don't know how to process it, so I do bottle things up. And then to the point where I can't handle it anymore, and then I break down. Could probably work on that.
Yeah.
But
no,
okay.
Thank you for sharing, because it's important that you communicate that as a way to not bottle it in. And then, like, one of the points that I make commonly in the podcast, you know, usually I do this as my outro, but I can do this right here because it applies. So the reason I made this podcast is because, like, not necessarily for views or popularity or monetization. Of course, that's like part of it, but the main reason that I made this podcast is because I feel like the art of communication has become so rare these days, which was the opening point. Like people don't know how to express like the way they feel and the way they think and their opinions, because people are always caught up in like, how much can I do? Like, how can I volunteer in this place? How can I do as much as I can in this place? Stuff like that, especially for teenagers like us. Podcasts are becoming more common, but it's in like older demographics from like 20 to 30 to 40. But this is the talking stage is kind of like the first like more teenager podcast where you could speak about things like this. And so to go back to your situation with like doing, like you would do a lot and then that like causes you to become stressed out. Like having a safe space to communicate has become very rare for people. And then it's like because also part of it is like you're doing as much as you can, and because you're doing as much as you can, it's hard for you to like establish deeper connections with other people, which isn't necessarily a sign of poor emotional intelligence. I think it's kind of like you're the victim of the situation.
I can see that, yeah.
So I think being able to communicate well is already a sign of emotional intelligence, though.
Oh yeah.
I think that's why I feel like a lot of people are not that emotionally intelligent. People are already.
And I feel like another part of it would be like everyone's a screenager now. Everyone's on TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram. I am too, but
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like some people just express themselves better than others.
Yeah.
And some people just have better self-control also.
Yeah. I think, but it's kind of hard to differentiate, like, do you have self-control or are you just not processing the emotions properly?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I guess. That makes sense.
Yeah. So for me personally, I, one of the qualities that I have that, like, is a sign of, like, emotional intelligence is that, like, I'm working on this now, but I had a tendency to cut people off pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for anybody that's, like, disturbing me, I could just easily, like, not talk to them and, like, just, like, because everybody says there's like plenty of fish in the sea or whatever, but I kind of just, like, applied that to, like, a lot of things, so, like, friends or activities, relationships, or whatever. It's kind of easy for me personally to just, like, move on, but what that leads to happen, and I feel like is kind of common for a lot of people, is that it kind of leads you to not really process the emotions properly, which leads me personally to, like, I end up feeling like I don't have any in the first place, you know. I think, like, interestingly, to go back to one of the points that I had, I articulate and speak of my own emotions, like, very objectively, right? It's hard for me to think subjectively, which, even though I can communicate that well, as which I said is, like, a form of emotional intelligence, like, I think it might be a form of poor emotional intelligence for me personally, that I don't think of it subjectively because I don't associate with that. You know what I mean?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. It's actually a condition, not necessarily like condition, but it's a quality that I, like, searched up, and it's actually called alexithymia. So
Big
alexithymia,
name.
yeah, alexithymia is the quality where you can't really, like, process and differentiate your own emotions. So you just end up, like, not feeling anything, which leads people to find the next high and the next person. So for me, in my situation, it's like cutting off people and situations came pretty easily because I didn't really process it in the first place. So I'm just finding the next person that can make me feel something, you know?
I feel like I'm the opposite.
Oh, really?
I get attached to people a little bit too easily. And then so in the end, even though I know, like, they shouldn't be a part of my life anymore, I end up keeping them around because I feel bad.
Oh.
Yeah.
What do you mean by feel bad though?
Like, feel bad, like, for, like, doing what's right for me. Like,
oh, yeah.
if someone's, like, taking advantage of me and using me for, let's just say, like, homework answers, it's like I don't want to be, like, their friend just because I can provide them with good grades. So, like, in reality, I probably should cut them off, but also I don't.
Would you say that's because, would you call yourself a non-confrontational person?
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a quality that is good to a degree, to be able to think of things, like, maturely and be, like, considerate. But if you come to, like, a point where you're, like, a martyr, you know what martyr means?
No.
Martyr is, like, you would sacrifice yourself for others.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's a little too much.
Yeah. And then for me, it's like I said, it's, like you were saying, it's the opposite problem. Because, like, I am, like, very comfortable with confrontation. So I could, like, do that kind of easily. You know, maybe we can learn from each other. So we'll see. Alrighty. You have anything more to say to this topic?
Oh, not at the moment.
Well then, if something comes back to you, we can come back to this. But situation.
Situationships. Is that our next topic?
Yep. What is your experience with that word? Or how would you define that word?
It's like when you and someone else could technically be something, but there's, like, so many factors weighing in, and it just gets so complicated to the point where it's not a talking stage, but it's not a relationship. It's just that weird in between.
Oh, so you'd say it's like a level above a talking stage?
Actually, yeah.
What do you think were going to be some factors that could cause a situationship?
Commitment.
Oh, commitment issues.
Yeah, commitment issues.
Yeah.
The inability to commit.
Why do you think this fear of commitment is so prominent?
That people don't know what to expect, and they don't want to be like, I want to say binded. That's not the right word, but they don't want to be like
responsible.
Yeah. They don't want to be responsible for someone. And I guess a lot of times people are just bored.
And that's why they would do that.
Just like people I know, they like flirt around and then they get other people to catch feelings and then they dip.
Yeah.
Because they're bored. They flirt because they're bored.
Yeah. Wait, have you ever been in one of these situations as talking stage / relationship?
No talking stage, no relationship. Situationship maybe.
Really?
Wait, but then I guess this goes back to the point where situationship isn't necessarily above talking stage.
Yeah. So, like, what were the activities that you and this person were doing when you were in the situationship?
Wait, what if they watch this?
I mean, they won't know because, like, we're not going to dox them, so. Okay.
I don't know.
You don't know. Like, I mean, like texting every day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just that, though?
No, definitely more. It's like, it's like hanging out, too. And definitely it's like more than friends. Yeah.
It's kind of strange because for a lot of people, like, what's more than friends, it kind of like depends on each person, though. It's like some people have a lot of friends, some people don't have a lot of friends. So, like, the line, it's a little blurry.
I guess that's what makes a situationship then.
A blurry line?
Yeah, because no one, like, and then I guess this goes back to communication, too. Like, each person doesn't really know what they want, and they don't communicate that, so then
they just know they're having fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh well.
I mean, it is what it is, right? We move on.
We thug it out.
Yeah, we thug it out.
But would you say there was a learning experience from that little situationship, or did you not learn much?
I mean, I guess a little bit.
What
I feel like you learn, like, after a situationship, you learn what you want a little bit more.
Learn as in, like, your type or, like, what you appreciate in a person?
Yeah, both.
Hypothetically, how would you create this situationship? How would you go past, let's say you're, like, friends with somebody, like, how would you go past the barrier to become a situationship?
You're saying you want to be in a situationship?
No. I'm saying, let's say the podcast.
Okay.
How would you do it? I have my ideas.
Like, get into a situationship?
Yeah, like create one. Or like talking stage. Yeah.
I don't know. It's like not knowing what you want.
What
it's
create
like one day you're like giving them a lot of attention, the next day like not at all. It's like mixed signals.
What create a situationship?
Sometimes, yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like true with like friends though too. Like sometimes you can like see each other for like a whole day and then not talk to each other for months ever. I mean, that's more true for guys, to be fair.
But I feel like when you're friends, like, it doesn't really matter as much because you know you're friends. But if you have feelings for someone, then it messes with you, I think.
What do you think would cause somebody to have feelings for somebody else?
Dude, honestly, I think it's just attachment.
Attachment? What do you mean by attachment?
Like, you can, like, hallway crushes. Like, you don't actually know them, but you just, like, randomly like get an attachment to them for like maybe it's their appearance or the way they act.
It's like,
I think it just depends.
It's kind of like the idea of them is like a common way to put it.
Yeah.
What do you think of the question, do you like them or the idea of them? What do you think of that question?
Honestly, like, when it comes to me, I don't know if I actually like them or the idea of them.
What would you define the idea of them?
Like, what you guys could be.
Oh, the potential.
Yeah.
So when are you thinking like the idea of them? Are you thinking get married, have 2 million children, and create Genghis Khan's empire? Or are you just thinking little fun dates and stuff that you would like to do?
I don't know, actually. Maybe a little bit mix of both.
A mix of Genghis Khan's empire?
Yeah.
Okay. If you ask me, like, what's your type or whatever, I wouldn't really have an answer to that because I just like what I like and I take it like a person by person standard, you know? That's why the terms like red flag and like ick it kind of like bothers me when it's like you're kind of defining what you want, but you're not really considering the person or the situation, you know? So what do you think? Because for me personally, I feel like a lot of people disagree. Like, I don't really care about red flags. I just take the situation how it is, or like how I feel how it is. What would you think of that outlook of relationships?
I think it really depends on like where you are, like mentally too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a red flag you saw in someone in, let's just say, middle school isn't necessarily a red flag you would consider like once you're in college or beyond.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I also think that red flags for a lot of people is like super superficial.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like stuff that like doesn't really matter. And then that's why I say like red flags doesn't really matter to a degree because it depends on the situation between the two of you, you know. But to be fair, there's also, have you ever heard the rose tinted glasses?
No.
So rose tinted glasses, like, you know, when you wear red glasses, red flags just look like flags.
Yeah.
And then for me, red flags look like Six Flags. Anyways, this girl like cheated on her past boyfriend. I wouldn't care. What do you think of that?
I think it just comes down to preferences then. Like what's ethical or like right for some people is different from I don't know. It's just preference.
Okay. Do you think it's important to have like some of your own red flags and preferences already like known in the back of your head?
I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because like some things could be deal breakers, but again, it changes with the person.
Yeah.
It depends on the situation.
Yeah. That's why, for me personally, I take it like a person by person basis, but I'm like wondering now if that's like the right approach, you know? So you never really know. And this, it applies more than like relationships, like romantic relationships. It also applies to like friendships or whatever, you know, like friendship red flags. What do you think of that phrase? Friendship red flags. You ever,
I think that exists.
you have a couple?
Like an example?
Yeah.
When they can only talk about their experiences, but when you talk about yours, they like shut you out or ignore it.
Like that selfishness.
Yeah, they invalidate your feelings to feel better about themselves.
Oh,
I know what.
Okay.
People who shit talk you in front of others to make themselves look better.
Oh,
That pisses me off so much.
Well, I would think it's like your makeup looks off or whatever, like something like that. I don't know.
It's like, oh, like she wears so much makeup, but I don't wear any at all.
Oh, do you think it works? Like, let's say you're the girl, and like somebody, like one of my guy friends, like comes around, and then he's like trying to like low bro me because he like finds you attractive. Do you think it would work? You think it would like no, not at all.
Because I think it's embarrassing. Like, why
Like
do
you can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's embarrassing though. Like, how is it embarrassing?
Like why are you demoting others?
Like, what happened to the bro code?
Yeah, exactly. Bro code and girl code. I think they exist.
Oh yeah, bro code definitely exists. Which one do you think is stronger, the girl code or the guy code, the bro code?
I want to say girl code.
Oh.
But also, I feel like girl code is broken more.
Oh, so it's not stronger.
Wait, actually? Yeah, I think girl code is broken more. But also, yeah. Yeah.
Girl code is broken more often. So, okay, so what is girl code, though? Like, what are some
It's like you don't go for your friend's ex.
That's like both. That's on both, though. But
It's
girls would break it more often?
I think so. Or in situations I've seen, at least.
Okay.
And then after that, they don't really become friends anymore. But I feel like,
yeah.
Actually, from my observations, I feel like girls don't become friends after someone breaks girl code, but guys still are friends.
Yeah, I think, don't girls sometimes they be like acting like they're friends, but they like really not though? Yeah.
Everyone's so fake now. They're like talking shit about each other behind their backs.
I see that a lot, especially with girls. Like, two girls will act like they're kind of chill with each other, but
there's so much drama underneath.
There's so much history. Yeah. No, it'd be so bad. I think guys, they just wouldn't associate. I mean, in some occasions, like the guy just like stopped caring. So they would like it doesn't affect them, or they would just like, they wouldn't do the fake thing though. It's like
Girls do the fake thing.
Yeah. Either they like they like care and they like don't associate,
Mm-hmm.
or they just don't care and they like don't associate, like, or like they don't care and they're like still friends with them because they don't care.
Yeah.
If we're going with like going with somebody's ex type of idea, isn't girl code also um like checking for like people's appearance or whatever? Yeah, like I was like, oh, your hair is like
Mm-hmm.
shine like that, right?
Like, oh, like, is there something in my teeth? Like,
Mm-hmm.
tell them.
Mm-hmm. That's girl code.
Yeah, but like, you're not gonna like in the middle. Like, if you're huddled in a circle with a
Oh,
group,
yeah.
you're not gonna be like, oh my god, there's something in your teeth.
Oh yeah,
Like, you like tell them,
yeah.
but like discreetly.
Yeah. So then get it real quick. Guy code does not do that. But I feel like the bro code, it's kind of like it's like unbreakable, you know? Like if somebody says you're like, I'll like ride or die for somebody, like they'll actually like straight up die for somebody. Unless they're just running.
Girls are not like that at all, I don't feel like.
Would you say you have a bit of ops around? You have to be wary of?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
How did those come around?
Like rumors.
Oh yeah.
Like people assume things.
Yeah. Uh-oh. No, it's relatable though. It's
Yeah.
like, and it's like so unfair to you because like nobody, like you didn't do anything, or you feel like you didn't do anything,
Mm-hmm.
and then like suddenly you hear these assumptions, like where did those come from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like for me, like if I do something wrong, like just tell me.
Yeah.
Like I can take criticism. I'd rather you tell me straight to my face and be mad at me rather than say stuff behind my back.
Yeah, and the assumptions, like a lot of people like extrapolate it and like just make it bigger than how it is. It's like, bruh.
So dramatic.
Yeah, honestly, because these people who like you were friends with, like you can't really associate with them anymore because of something you didn't do. Yeah. But if they're gonna believe something like that,
They're
maybe,
not a real one.
yeah, maybe they shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Exactly.
But you know, maybe there's some population watching this or like seeing this that's like, oh, it's like two of those people. It's like, oh, bruh.
It's like, why is Selena talking about being nice?
Oh yeah.
She's not.
Yeah. And Sam was like, why is Ivan acting like he's mature? He's a dick. I'm like, oh, so do you forgive them?
Yeah, I don't think I hold grudges.
Oh, you're not a person to hold grudges.
Wait. Okay, sometimes I do. But like after a certain point, I don't care anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
Forgive and forgive, but don't forget.
So let's say I like did you dirty, right? And then I apologize. I feel like it does nothing for you. That's what I believe. Like it's only entirely for me to like release this like resentment and like ownership, like own up to it.
Yeah.
And I feel like it does nothing for you. Do you agree?
I agree, actually.
Yeah. I feel like I've asked other people this question too, and they think they say that as the person like being apologized to, it feels good. But like
Does it?
not really. Like for me, it does nothing. It's like, bruh, I don't care.
Like I don't think an apology is gonna make you forgive someone.
Yeah. It's
like if you were to forgive them, you would have done it a while ago.
And then like to forgive somebody, it doesn't usually come from like interacting with them further or like a conversation with them. Like I feel like forgiving somebody comes usually from like your own mind and your own decision. Yeah. It's kind of interesting that like something about somebody doing something onto you, like how you forgive them is like completely up to you and not really in that conversation, which like communication kind of like doesn't work in this case. Which, I mean, do you think it would work, that communication?
I feel like if both people realize what they do wrong and both of them take ownership, then yeah, it would work. But if it's always like one person apologizing for the same thing, then obviously something's not working.
Yeah. Okay, let me create a situation. So let's say, okay, you know what? I'll just use the two of us. So let's say last year you were like a much less mature person, and then you like were like mean to me, right, or whatever, and then like forgetting like all of our history, but like we like met last year, and then you were like pretty mean to me, and I was like, what the heck? And then I like cut you off basically, right? A year passes and you're like a much more mature person, like a much kinder person, and you feel bad for doing that to me, right? Would you apologize, and would you go like how would you go about apologizing?
I feel like I would just straight up be like, oh, like
It's like it's a year later though.
Oh, it's a year later.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Of apologizing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I think it goes back to the idea of the apology only helps the person asking for forgiveness. You know,
I mean, but if you have an open mind, then
if I
yeah.
have an open mind, yeah, yeah. Okay, let's say that like same situation, right? But like you know for a fact that I've forgiven you like a long time ago, but like you had some resentment towards me for cutting you off, right? From that situation, how would you go about like apologizing, or would you try to apologize? Because I'm already happy, I've already forgiven you, and there's like you still hold some resentment towards me, but that's like gone by now. How would you go about apologizing?
Probably the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you had your reason for cutting me off because I did something wrong, so it's justified.
And
but
then,
I feel like if you went out of your way to like bring me down even more than just by cutting me off and going around telling everyone that I was a bitch, then I feel like it would make it harder, and that's how you create like ops, I guess.
yeah, like why would I apologize to you after you like made it bigger than it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess it just depends on like if someone is willing to be the bigger person and apologize first, I guess.
Yeah. Interesting.
It depends.
Depends. Yeah.
It always depends.
Yeah, for me, it's when I think of this question, it's kind of hard because I see this person and they're like entirely happy without me, and it was me who was the problem, and it was me who was like who should be asking for forgiveness but had resentment towards them. And so when I see them, they're like much happier like without me. Like why would I apologize to them and like try to reinsert myself back in their life, you know?
Oh, yeah, that makes sense too.
That's why it's the question. Like the first question was, would you apologize? Yeah, it's a difficult situation. Yeah.
I mean, like you said, apologizing is mainly for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's kind of hard because you wouldn't want to associate, you wouldn't like look like you're trying to insert yourself back into their life again, you know?
Yeah.
Hard situation.
Just depends.
Yeah. Everything depends.
Everything
Always depends. Oh, why taking things seriously is so difficult. We'll start with the easy one, like academically. Why do you think it's hard for like people to like focus in class or like take studies seriously or whatever?
Okay, well, I've had senioritis since like freshman year.
Yeah.
I think I think a little bit of like fear of growing up.
Oh, really?
A little bit.
How so?
It's like, because I didn't think high school would go by this fast, but now we're going to become seniors. I think that's kind of scary. And so, like, as you grow older, you get more responsibilities too. Things become harder, I guess. You understand more things, but that's also when life gives you more challenges, I guess.
And therefore, people become more serious or less serious?
Some will step up and become more mature, while others are like still stuck on the idea of being a kid because they don't want to grow up.
And therefore, they wouldn't focus.
Yeah.
Interesting. Not what I would have expected. I thought you were just gonna say like people get bored. I was like, damn.
I mean that too.
Yeah.
That too. Some classes I just can't sit through.
Yeah, I just can't take it. But like other things that like you are passionate about, it would apply to what you were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
burnout too, I think.
Oh yeah. It's so hard. Because if you take things seriously for so long, it's like stuff that you shouldn't have taken seriously, you won't have like room for anything. Okay, so let's say you're being vulnerable, right? And I'm like listening, and I'm not like me because like I feel like I could listen pretty well. But let's say if I were somebody else and I would just like not care as much, why do you think people have the tendency to do that?
I think they have a fear of being wrong, or they don't know how to react to it. It's like if someone tells you something like deep going on in their family life, let's just say, like you don't want to say the wrong thing. If you're giving people advice, I feel like that's why I always say, I think you should do this.
Yeah.
Or maybe you should do this, but not you should do this, because you don't want to give people the wrong impression.
You don't want to take ownership.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you give them the wrong advice and something happens, you don't want to be responsible for it. That's what happens.
Yeah. I see that. it's also like people have this quality if somebody's like going through something like being vulnerable,
Mm-hmm.
people have the tendency if they're the one listening to try and like pull them out of it.
Yeah.
Like instead of like really trying to like get to the root of the problem or like root of how they feel or whatever. Like people have the tendency to just be like, want a tissue? Or like want some water? It's like, bro, shut up.
It's like sometimes you just need to let it out.
Like get it all out. hmm let me ask you this: would you ever do this for a person? So let's say like one of your friends is going through something and you could tell they're going through something,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't want to talk about it. But like from personal experience or for whatever, like it's just gonna eat them up, and like you could tell that their behavior's been changing, and like, you just wanted to get it out of them because you value this person, right?
Mm-hmm.
How would you go about just like really getting it out? Like, would you press them? Like, would you really pry it out of them?
I feel like this is kind of hard because,
Yeah,
I mean, everyone like deals with things at their own pace too. So
yeah.
forcing them out of them
Mm-hmm.
isn't necessarily the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm. How would you go about it then?
I would probably just offer to talk about it, but
Mm-hmm.
if they're not ready, then they're not ready.
Yeah, but it's kind of hard too because you could see the changes in their own
Yeah,
behavior.
I feel like if another incident comes up, then that's when you should like
Oh, okay.
start bringing it up a little bit more.
What would you call an incident?
Like something that adds onto that like
Yeah.
pile of things that's making them bottle
Yeah.
everything up.
Like they start yelling at somebody,
Oh yeah.
like something like that. Yeah. And but I've heard the story one time of this person, like I think it was their girlfriend or something, where like they were going through something. It was with their family or something, like one of their situations, and then it was a guy too, because like guys have a harder time because of society, or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
expressing their emotions, and then he was trying to like avoid the conversation of like what's bothering him, like what was going on, and then this person, his girlfriend, he like kept on like trying and really trying and really trying to like get it out of him, and he like finally spilled everything of that he was bothering him. He was like crying or whatever, and he said that as a person, that was the time that he felt like the most love from a single person. Not to pull out the L word, scary word, scary word. What do you now that you hear that story? Would you still like take it at their pace?
I mean, yeah.
hmm For me personally, like I said, I'm good with confrontation. Like I have the ability to do that, and like I'm comfortable doing that, which is not the right way to put it, but yeah, I think for me, if I value this person so much and I can like really see how it's changing, like I think I might press them about it to like get it out of them. You think that's also a good, like a correct decision?
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends.
It depends. It depends.
It depends. But yeah, definitely a hard question. Like taking things seriously is so nuanced for many situations. Relationships. Uh-oh.
Okay.
Have you ever been led on or led somebody on?
I think I've been led on before.
Mm-hmm. And then like how do you think they did that?
I don't necessarily think it's them. I think it's the people around.
Oh, really? How so? How so?
It's like, because I feel like people are scared of confrontation,
Mm-hmm.
so they avoid their feelings, and so they get their friends to express it for them.
Mm.
And then so, like, the people around you start twisting the truth.
Mm-hmm. Like telling you what you want to hear?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Okay.
Especially if you're like, if you're like stuck in the middle, you're friends with like both sides of the party,
Oh yeah.
then it gets harder because you want to help you want to help person A get with person B,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't want to hurt person A's feelings if person B doesn't like them back. That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like you want to help, but like the cards just aren't aligning, and the
Yeah.
stars aren't aligning. Yeah, it's hard too because one way you could say to like relate back to taking things seriously is that one person has serious emotions for the other,
Mm-hmm.
and the other person doesn't, but that communication doesn't happen. Why do you think like people would avoid taking those emotions and that conversation seriously? Or another way to put it is like, why do you think people would avoid that serious conversation in the first place?
I think they're worried about what other people think and how they should behave.
What do you mean by that?
I think everything is just about like everything now, at least. People want to seem like be seen in a positive light around other people. Like, you don't want to make a mistake. You don't want to do the wrong thing or like have someone like question your actions, I guess.
And therefore avoid hurting their feelings.
Yeah.
It's tough too, because in the end, like, you'll just hurt their feelings more.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Like I said, I'd rather someone be straight up with me than lie and pretend to be something else.
Yeah. And then for like the idea of leading somebody on, it's like, you're like, if you're the person leading somebody on, you're just like having fun or whatever, but they're taking like serious emotions or whatever. And then you just like talking to them, and you like their company, but you don't want to take that away from yourself, you know? So it's a little difficult. But yeah.
But then I feel like there's also like, there's people that are just having fun.
Yeah.
And also people who don't know how to communicate that they don't want anything more. It's like, yeah, there are people who talk to other people and flirt with other people because they're bored. And other people who do it without realizing. But then when they realize, they don't know how to stop it. They don't know how to tell the other person, like, oh, like, I didn't mean to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Which, it's like, you don't want to stop, like, having fun, but you end up just hurting everybody.
Yeah. Not good. Not good.
Not good. Communication is key.
Communication is key.
Communication is key. Alrighty, party people. This has been The Talking Stage. I'm your host, Ivan Vasquez. I'm joined with
Selina Wang.
Yeah. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. If you enjoyed, we'll get you on again, but we're going to finish this recording.
Next episode is going to be ASMR with 10 a.m. Canes featuring Ben Simran.